Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about tips in writing research literature review. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like the notification button for more updates. Now, let's proceed to the purposes of the review of related literature and studies. It is necessary for you to review information, facts, data, or data available or theories that have some relationship with your hypothesis, which you post in your stated problem or research questions. In fact, even before you were conceptualizing your study, you should have already read some volumes of literature on your topic or subject matter. The review of literature and studies involves the critiquing and evaluating of what other researchers have done in relation to the problem to be studied, whether these studies affirm or negate the subject under study. This can be from books, conferences, referral journal, and other published articles. The review of related literature is equally important to the review of related literature and studies. Published and unpublished research studies such as theses, dissertation, and research proceedings are sources of materials that are included in this section. The research studies which have direct bearing to the present studies are segregated into foreign and local studies. The presentation of foreign and local studies is similar with related legal bases and related literature, which are arranged in chronological order from recent to past. Each related study has explanation on the relevance of the present study. It is unscientific if no explanation of all is given. Reviewing the literature requires the ability to juggle multiple tasks, from finding and evaluating relevant materials to synthesizing information from various sources, from critical thinking to paraphrasing, evaluating, and citation skills. Pautaso 2013 enumerated 10 simple rules for writing a literature review. First, define the topic and audience. There are so many issues in contemporary science in which you could spend a lifetime of attending conferences and reading the literature just pondering on what to review. On the other hand, if the researcher will take several years to choose, several other people may have had the same idea in the meantime. Topic must be interesting, important, and current. Another, search and research the literature. After having chosen the topic and the audience, start downloading published articles related to the study or topic. Some useful sites are Google Scholar, ProQuest, etc. Be sure to properly acknowledge sources. Take notes while reading. If you read the paper first and only afterwards start writing the review, you will need a very good memory to remember who wrote what and what your impressions and associations were while reading each single paper. Fourth, choose the type of review you wish to write. Some journals are now favoring the publication of rather short reviews focusing on the last few years, with a limit on the number of words and citations. The choice between different review types will have to be made on a case-to-case basis, depending not just on the nature of the material found and the preferences of the target journals, but also on the time available to write the review and the number of co-authors. Fifth, keep the review focused but make if of broad interest, meaning arrange readings according to themes. The need to keep a review focus can be problematic for interdisciplinary reviews, where the aim is to bridge the gap between fields. Be critical and consistent. Reviewing the literature is not like arranging hollow blocks. It is very important to have consistency in your review. Find a logical structure. Pautaso said, emphasize that, like a well baked cake, a good review has a number of telling features. It is worth the reader's time, timely, systematic, well written, focused, and critical. It also needs a good structure. It must be arranged logically so as not to destroy its implications. 8. Make use of feedback. As a rule, incorporating feedback from reviewers greatly helps improve a review draft. Having read the review with a fresh mind, reviewers may spot inaccuracies, inconsistencies, and ambiguities that had not been noticed by the writers due to the rereading the typescript too many times. Include your own relevant research. In many cases, reviewers of the literature will have published studies relevant to the review they are writing. A literature review can be just a simple summary of the sources, but it is usually has an original pattern and combines both summary and synthesis. And lastly, be up to date in your review of literature and studies. Given the progressive acceleration in the publication of scientific papers, today's review of literature need awareness not just of the overall direction and achievements of a field of inquiry, but also of the latest studies so as not to become outdated or out of date before they have been published. So those are the 10 purposes of writing the literature review. Now, what were and how to find information? That's the question. So, first, it is necessary that you list down all important variables which you need in your study and any theories which you think can generate your hypothesis, and those can explain the relationship among your variable. Check all your variables that you cited in your hypothesis. Second, after the variables are determined, the relationship between them posited, and either a preliminary hypothesis or investigate questions stated. You continue your search for information related to the problem being studied. Third, check the population you want to include in your study. What theories have been posited that have significant bearing on your study? What are the appropriate sources where you can find the desired information? Are there documents in government and private agencies where you can get information desired? Determine the best way to retrieve this information. Conduct a library research. Contact firms if necessary. Examine the materials. Write in index cards the information gathered from each source. Use all printed aids to help you include those delivered electronically, online catalogs and databases, computer search engines, periodical indexes, and CD-ROMs. RO means ready on only memory. Database refers to the collection of information assembled in computer-accessible form. Databases are produced by both public and private organizations. These databases might be distributed by the number of online computer services. The number of database producers and distributors is increasingly very rapidly. For instance, Dialog Information Services has over 200 databases, over 100 million records available. In books, look over the table of contents and circle those you think are relevant to your project. The index of textbooks gives a specific page location of key ideas in the book. The glossary lists and defines key terms. Here you can get a great deal of information about what is important. The bibliography is a listing of the sources an author has used or recommends. Books that have suggested or further readings lists at the end of the chapters can also help us as much as any other bibliography. Fourth, know how to write citation, where you can include the authors, the title, the publisher, and the date of publication, the volume number, the page number, the information about the study, and the findings. You should be able to distinguish the editorial styles of formats of the following: the Modern Language Association, which is popularly today, and the APA style of the American Psychological Association. And fifth, review and synthesize those findings that support or reject your hypothesis or research questions. These are many theories which are useful for hypothesizing, explaining relationship in research. Explore on this. There are many available resources of information which the researcher may avail of in relation to the topic chosen. Also, there are many useful references where you can search for related information, records and reports of organization, statistical data, census data, government and business documents, periodicals and journals, thesis and dissertation, unpublished manuscript, indexes and abstract, etc. The sources of information which you have selected and an amount of information are no longer confirmed in libraries with the advent of information assembled in computer accessible form. These are produced by various types of organization and which are increasingly steadily. Sixth, use online computers for searching and retrieval of information. Surf the internet. You can use a computer to find researches through search engines and websites. Many search engines, names such as Yahoo, AltaVista, Infosec, and Lycos, are very popular these days. Students usually consult them when they write term paper. The internet and the World Wide Web offer potential researchers so much literature. It is more cost effective to use online computer searching and retrieval information because it is much faster than manual searching. Begin with an online search using the descriptors from your list of variables. This is useful if you don't know where to start. For your related studies, professional journal, and periodicals are useful good sources of information on studies conducted. Books are good for theoretical framework. Once all these are available, then take time to make your critiques. Critique the material as you read them, particularly the research literature. What are the conclusions made by researcher? Did she or he base this from valid findings, valid instruments, appropriate sampling technique? Are the findings supported by data, judged objectively, and indicate the relevance or significant relationship between your study and his study? You might later find out that not all are really pertinent to your problem. And finally, synthesize the review literature, categorize them, and cluster them according to whether these are conducted abroad or locally. Or you may categorize them according to periods, to geographical location or origin, to similarity in their methodology, or contrast in their findings, or even similarity in their conclusions. When all these are done, then you are ready to write your chapter 2 as your literature review and studies. With that, thank you very much for your listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification buttons for more updates. Bye!